5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. It's the Romello Marcellous Show. The fly uncle you always wish you had. Bring them out. Here to give you every aspect of game from a real player's perspective. It's the biggest boss from business, entertainment, love, and life. Had to find my inner power. To fashion, etiquette, and current events. Major show alert. All to enhance the happiness already inside you. Today is about the power of you. Check it out.
You're now rocking with the best.
Yep.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for taking my call today. I'm calling from CAC Press. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. Everything's good.
Good. I'm so happy. I'm doing well. I'm so happy that we were able to get a hold of you because for our avid book lovers, we were able to check out your new book, The Finihless Finishline. So we are so excited to just discuss that with you today. And we know that some of your story has been told, but through your book, we love that we get to get a more intimate glimpse of your childhood and experiences that have made you into the man that you are today. So our first question for you, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
What inspired you to write this book?
You know, everybody has a story to tell. And it's just sad that some stories, although cautionary tales, die with those who have had the tales to tell. And I'm blessed to still see the other side of the things that actually occurred that made up my life. So I was inspired by myself and the triumphs, the trials, the tribulations, and everything else. Also, the fun I had, and I'm still having. So why not?
That's amazing.
Games be sold, not told.
Exactly. So that's why I'm so honored to be here with you to have this interview. Just reading a little bit into the book through chapter 1 and chapter 2, we get just a deep dive right into your childhood and, from the things that have already been out there and just reading about your childhood, it just seems like your story, your life is one of those that most people would either read in a book or see on the TV screen or movies, with kingpins, drug lords, sex, money, drugs. But it's interesting, in your childhood, you got to experience things that most children just don't even imagine. So could you just take us into, I would say, let's start with Annie, someone who you've pointed out as a great influence in your life and how she kind of molded and shaped you with learning the things that you learned. How was it growing up, being kind of the money man and just your experiences being around her?
My grandma Annie, my mom Annie, she was no joke. As I stated in the book, you ask people when they get up in the morning, what's the first thing they grab when they put on? She had long, beautiful black hair, and she would put it in the braids, or the pigtail braids, and curl it up and pin it to the side of her head, right? And to watch her sit at her nightstand and grab her 2-shot Derringer and put it in her waist before she put her hair hat on, as she called it. And also a hawkbill knife. It was different times for them when they came up because it was just what it was in this country. But let alone being black and owning something, she was a woman and owned something. To me, she was the quintessential benchmark of strong black woman. But she was very nurturing and caring, and she loved on all of us. She was about her business and always kept something. That's the lineage. I mean, my whole my ancestors, all of them were, how do I say it? They were hustlers. Yeah. I mean, they hustled life. I mean, and it kind of the same sense that most do it now, but you're talking about then where you actually were able to see your money, you know. The only real estate that, they didn't own like most own now is a plot of land to be buried in. They owned it. They had land. They had, things. Whether or not they ran numbers, sold dinners, uh, uh, uh you know, like in World War II. My my great grandmother, she built torpedoes. She worked in the torpedo factory, you know. Um, but at the same time, she had other things going on. She was plugged in with the bankers. She was plugged in with everybody in that town. And I know because hell, I ran errands for her. You understand? Without putting it all out there, you got to read it to get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, to see it up close and personal and get instruction from the individual who's actually running their own operation or their own situation grooms you for the things that are to come. So, yeah, I learned very, very early on based on her drive and her ethics and the way she lived her life that, yeah, you got to get it real early. You got to grab the most important thing to prepare for your day or your life, as you're moving about. So, as a woman in her day and time, protection was her first thing she grabbed, her go to, besides her Bible. And I operate the same way. Rather have it and don't need it than to need it and not have it.
She sounds like she was a cornerstone in your family,
Yeah, she was.
Especially to the women, and I'm pretty sure to the men as well, as you yourself being a man, and just how to operate and how to do things. And sounds like, she really took care of her family. And, reading through some of the text that shows up in your family with you and your sister, those you have claimed as family, you all looked out for each other. So it's amazing to see how what she poured into you just flowed from person to person. Um, Speaking of people in your life that were influential, you also spoke of your father and how he kind of gave you the 10 commandments of being a man. So this day and age, we have these different talks, but for you, what was the most influential one of those commandments that your father gave you that has just stuck with you and built you through life even till now?
God comes first in everything. First. But in the worldly world and moving about,
Mhm.
to be honest, wow, I may offend some people when I say this. Never trust a woman. That's the fact. Stay insulated with them, but never trust them.
Hmm.
The one thing
That's a,
and I'll say it because this is what I was taught, and even my goddaddy said the same thing, reinforced it to me as a young buck. Is this when it comes to emotional maturity? A lot of times, when a woman emotes and has feelings for a situation, and you've shared some things with her, and you piss her off, she doesn't give a crap. Your business is in the street 9 times out of 10 in ways that it could get you killed. And I'm speaking on that based on the things that I was into for years. And I knew a lot of guys who had women and they trusted with everything. At the same time, while they're moving about, the female's moving about. She might be angry with this motherfucker. She's pillow talking to another joker, telling him where the safe is, when he's coming, when he's going, what he does have, what he doesn't have, when he's going to have it. All of these things and setting this man up to be put in the trunk or to be arrested. A lot of the conspiracies that happened back then were on the behest of a woman setting her guy up. So yeah, there you have it.
So with you saying that, it reminds me of a little passage I read about, speaking about, maybe 30 so guys rolling up on you.
Mm.
Do you think a young woman had a part to play in that?
Sure, she did at that time, but she didn't know it. She was young. Someone was actually trying to make something more of what it was, and it wasn't with them. So, the outcome was what it is. And as I stated in the book, my brother from another mother, pulled up and gave me the insight of what was going to potentially be coming down the pipe for me. And he stood with me that night. Yeah.
And it sounds like at that moment, a bond was forged between you guys, and
Oh, yeah.
that was your right-hand man.
Still is. Still is. Oh, yeah.
It's hard to find relationships like that with people, build them through years, but to have it forged in that one particular moment is very, very, what is the word I'm looking for? I guess they say unique circumstances bring people together.
Yeah, you better
and
say
in that moment, it could have came a different way, but to see, your brotherhood being formed right there like that in that situation was amazing to me.
Yeah.
And then also just some of the other people who have made great impact to your life. You mentioned your sister, who was like another mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Spanky, who also seems like he was a father figure to you. Can you just give us a little bit more on these two individuals and the parts and roles they played in your life while you were coming up?
I'm a mixture of those two. Honestly, my no nonsense that comes from my second mother, my intuitiveness on being aware of things that guide the compass of a room or space and place, and vibing with people, that comes from her. The calculated, that cold, even the callous aspect of things, that's hardwired in me, but I got to hone it and perfect it with him. Yeah, I was pulled back from a whole nother aspect of crime that I was dealing with, and he showed me the other side of the game, which I ended up getting into, and ran with it for years until the Alphabet Boys decided to come and knock on my door. God rest the dead. My father said, "Hey, if you're gonna swing, swing for the fence, and if the people come, make sure they got alphabets on their back." Yeah, because see, you're gonna catch the same amount of time that you would for something small that you would large. So go on and swing for the fence. And I did that. Do I have any regrets? No, I don't.
Well, we're glad to have you here to tell the story of it and just to sit and listen and, learn more about you and the things that you experienced. Being a young boy, did you ever feel like your life was different than others, or was that just the regular life of where you lived and this is just what you did and this is what everybody kind of did? How was that for you? Or
What I will say is there's levels to this shit. A lot of the guys that I've seen coming up, they were doing it as the average nigga sees it. No one knew that I was into anything, and this is the way that I was raised, until the day I got busted. That's it. And unless you were affiliated or you dealt with me in some sort of way, I never even had any conversations with people about anything I did. And even to this second, I don't have to embellish anything about it because the people have told the story. It's all in my paperwork. So, when I say when you at the question you asked, was my life different? Yeah, it was, because there was a lot that I had to hold back in the midst of other folks, even down to talking about people having their money issues or owing this one and owing that one. I never had the luxury of letting someone know that I was built in a certain way because I couldn't trust them. We didn't have the same blood on our hands. And there even came to a part or a point in my life where even certain people that I would consider family, they couldn't know. They had no clue. I would just disappear and handle my business and come back. I can tell you right now, when I went to when I went away on the day of the sentencing hearing, I hadn't seen my family in person for about a year and a half, and I'm giving you a contrast to how different things were or are, or between what you may think and the average individual thinks.
Mm-hmm.
My family didn't even know, other than I'll say 3 people, but even then, they thought I was actually done with it. I had never stopped. Um, Fucked me up, man, sitting in the court, and because the case was big or there were so many people on it, I was number 1 on 2 conspiracies and number 2 on 1. And the sentencing hearing, everything comes out that became evidence throughout a trial. So when they began to read off the relevant conduct, my kids, mainly my daughters, I'm looking at them because I wanted to see my people, and they leaned over and said, they mumbled, whispered, "Dad, we got to talk." And at that moment, I was kind of like, wow, flabbergasted. I mean, I was in a state of like, damn, I don't even want to answer these kind of questions to them. So, I just turned around and zoned out and let the AUSA continue to put everything on the record. So it's tough when you're living in secret and in quiet, and you're not letting your left hand know what your right hand's doing. You're just producing for the right hand. Whether it's food, clothes, shelter, trinkets in life, travel, everything you're doing, the provision's just happening. No one knows how it's happening. It's just happening. The kids are going to the best schools. They have no wants, no needs. You're constantly going. The wife's good. Everybody's good, but no one has an idea of how it's happening. It's just happening. And after being raised in it, just like we said, retrospectively, what was my influence about money and things and being able to have it? Hell, I came up around it. Never not had it. I can tell you right now, as a kid, constantly being passed back and forth, whether to school or just on any day, you're walking around and you're constantly seeing aspects of wealthy folks around you. You aspire to it. You're a product of your environment. And for them, they had no clue. They were just as green as the grass outside. So to give you contrast and difference, well, nah, I never got my money off a corner, nor did I ever fuck with a nigga on a corner. I never dealt with niggas that look like me because the simple fact is niggas don't do it for the money. They do it for the nigga next to them. I got fucked up because I began to deal with niggas. Broke a rule. So when you
And
talk
then
about
that's when they came for you.
there you go. The rule, as it was stated, you insulate yourself with women, meaning you stay away from the niggas. You may have one or two that you kick it with and you do different shit with, but you even toe the line with them because if they mean that much to you, you can't ever have a thing like money or their trust become an issue. So you do your dirt all by your lonesome.
So after the people came for you, the alphabets, as you call them, you're on the other side. I guess looking back retrospectively on your own life, from telling your story in this book, what would you have readers gather from just your life story?
I'm a winner. God damn it. It's what I do. Even in the face of adversity, I embrace it and I go with it. Even going away, I wasn't mad. It was expected. Either I was going to jail or I was going to take a dirt nap. I went to jail. I stood on mine. Even in my paperwork with my last statement, yeah, I made a statement to, how I felt about the things that went on with my family. But being asked, was I sorry? I was sorry that I got caught. That was my statement. Because I can promise you, had I not got caught, I'd be still jamming today. Yeah, I'd still be jamming today. That's facts. Now, do I have another one in me? No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm so good. Now, do I write the?
Yeah.
Now, someone. I mean, and this is an answer another part of your question, the inspiration. Some may say I
Mhm.
wrote the book as a cautionary tale. No, God damn it, I wrote it as therapy. To be honest, I needed to get it out because I couldn't tell the story when I was doing the shit. So let me just put it on paper, and then you make your own judgment or determination about it and the things that did happen and the people that I've encountered and my travels and all of that. And then watching how other people have told stories, which are the farthest from the truth, because hell, as a young kid, I actually had the opportunity to witness some shit. So, whoop, there it is, I guess. It's in the book.
What would you say, as a speaking to you as a child, what would you say as you were growing up was the most impactful event that you were a part of or something that you saw that, just the standard person would never, ever experience in life or never, ever could think could happen?
Shit. Watching a motherfucker get his brain knocked out of his head.
Mm.
And watching people having to put the brain in a bucket of ice to try and sustain the individual. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be very jarring to see something like that.
The jarring part was the motherfucker was hollering for me to come and save him when I gave him an out before it even happened to him. Nothing I can do for you at that point, homie. I told you to leave. You decided to stay.
So they face the consequences.
Damn right. Well, he's still living today. He fucked up though, but he's still living.
Wow.
Yeah,
Just
man.
to even hear that, no one would think that someone could live off of that, but living proof. There's a man, brains knocked out, and he's alive.
Yep.
So that's wow.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would say to your younger self now that you're able to, let the
Dear
worm out
young,
the can per se? What would you, I guess, have said to yourself as you were growing up? Because you talked about how you were in a life of mischief. You were doing things before you really got into other things. But Is there anything that you would say to yourself now if you were able to as a youngster?
Yeah, don't do business with no niggas. Yeah, that's the question. Yeah, don't do no business with no niggas. I love my people, love us, man, but goddamn it, they can't keep a secret. They can't keep shit to themselves to save their life. And the only reason I was able to do so, and I'm gonna be honest with you, is because I was bred and raised to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not something anybody can jump into, and
No.
You got to know people to know people.
And
So
most people, when they get into certain aspects of certain games or out in the street, they bring their traumas with them. So the thing that they're feeding, whether it's recognition, like most Negroes, we out here, we got to be recognized with the car we driving or the thing we have, that kind of shit. This is usually our downfall. We can't ball like everybody else because, for one, we're not supposed to have it. So you got to kind of fly under the radar or put yourself in a position where you can shine because you've built yourself up, or your insulation around you, whether it's businesses or your community works, and people know that you are profiting from different things. This is what takes the attention off of you. Yeah.
as a youngster, did you ever have those moments where you let yourself, flex a little bit?
Hell yeah, all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
All the
What
time.
did that look like?
Shit, I was a young nigga pulling up next to the principal in school and BMW, all that shit. Yeah, we rock full length first. We do all that shit, everything. Never, it was
In school.
in school. Yeah, yeah. I mean, lived that shit. This wasn't no motherfucking TV. This wasn't no. Yeah, we lived that shit. We did it. We did that shit. Yeah.
See, to the average person, you just seem like.
Well, the thing is, when you go into school with kids and their families are well off and things of that nature, some things aren't questioned as much. It's just a kind of a norm. Yeah.
So no one would even have questioned anything about your lifestyle because that was just the norm.
That was the norm. That was the norm. What I would say about it, though, let's say, all right, let me put years and dates and times on it. Let's say 1984. Kids were coming to school with the brand new Porsche at that point in time. Benz, whatever it was out there, they were pulling up in front of the schools with it. They were driving it to school. Yeah. Yeah. So like when you look at the Robert Zemeckis movies, like 16 Candles and all that bullshit, that shit was real. Motherfuckers was living like that. That wasn't where I was at. That was the norm. That was the fucking norm. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Would you say you encountered anything that was out of the norm for you? You lived this life, your family was a part of this life, but did you ever reach a point where you saw more than what you had previously experienced? And
it was always more.
There's always more.
There's always more. That was just a thing. And the thing is, at that point, when I came off the porch, it wasn't nothing I had to do because we weren't destitute at all. It was just what the fuck I wanted to do. Yeah. I robbed my first store. I had to be, god damn, 11? Yeah, fucking 11 years old, maybe 12. And I did it, just, I don't know. I guess at that point in time, it was for shits and gigs because, hell, it wasn't about the money.
The bug bit you.
Yeah, I was coming off the porch. And I remember that morning, man, the next morning when my dad showed up. And damn, I thought he was going to kill me, boy. He was like, yeah, come on. We need to take a walk.
Having a come to Jesus moment, huh?
Yeah. And that's when we had that talk. And he was like, damn, I thought I had more time with you. But I got to get this off my chest so I can sleep good. And honestly, man, my mom had the same goddamn conversation. Like, hey, I got to have this conversation with you because I got to sleep good. As a parent, my prayer for you is nothing happens to you, but you're going to be your own man. And yeah, that's it. And they laid down the law because they knew what type of time I was on. The only reason we'll come bail you out or see about you is if you were out here defending yourself. Everything else, you're going to have to manage. And at that point in time, I always kept bail money, money for a lawyer. And I had 2 or 3 people that I knew at any given time I can call them day or night, and they're going to come sign for me. And that's how it went. Yeah.
Sounds like you still had your crew, even though, most people didn't know what you were doing, but you had prepared yourself to live that life.
Well, you align people, you align yourself with people, and you just have a rapport. They don't need to, and some, I'm like that too for some people that I love. I don't even need to know what it's about. If you need me, I'm coming. And that's based on the character and who you are and who you've been to me. I'm coming. Say less. Where are you? What do you need? That's it.
Now, did you have any of those people show up for you like that when you did go away?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, people were there. The people were there. The people that knew and they were solid, they were there. I had people that, hell, I was cool with, and we would do little things here and there. And then they never even knew. I could tell you, they never knew what had happened. Sometimes I question how they found out, but at the same time, being able to get a visit midweek and then come out and it's them. And they just come and say, hey, man, keep your head up, put something on your books. Not that you need it, but yeah, I had to come and lay eyes on you. That was it.
It's love being shown right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I boy, you taking me back. I remember as a little kid, man, getting up and think I'm gonna do a normal Saturday or normal weekday during the summer. No, I was busy running errands. I could leave the house with a sock, and I could have anything from $200 to thousands of dollars in this sock. And I would either be collecting or picking up. And I'll tell you, the final stop was to drop off. And there was a bank in the town called Burke and Herbert. Never forget it. My grandparents, great-grandparents, they knew the owners and so on and so forth. And the family goes back with them from when they first opened. So my family was one of their first, or if not the first customer that they had. And they're still strong to this day in that area. And hell, I would go down there and drop money, pick money up, and I mean everything. But who would suspect a 7-8-year-old kid walking around with this kind of money in a sock, going back and forth on a regular?
I'm pretty sure they were shocked, not you, because you lived that life, but they were shocked to even, experience yourself, coming into the bank, making deposits.
Yeah.
Such as those amounts, I just keep going back to the thing of, we're all shocked about the life you live, but when you live it, it's a different effect. I couldn't imagine being eight, having that much money. We were good enough to get $20 or something like that. So,
yeah.
That's just amazing for you to be able to touch that money and to see it and, to see the uses of it, to grow money. How do you feel like learning those things so young benefited you through life?
Like I said, I'm a winner. I love my money. Love money. Love money. People say, oh, money is the root to all evil. No, evil motherfuckers are the root to evil. The evils they carry based on who they are, their junkieisms, their isms, whatever they're carrying. They'll operate in that manner. I love money. I love things, nice things. I love the security of being able to come and go and do what I want to do when I want to do it. Sometimes, you have to touch and tax the establishment. And yeah, I did that shit. Even down to the cars. And, the cars was the last big hurrah of anything else that was outside of the drug situation.
Mm-hmm.
And hell, I had fun with that shit. Damn, we had fun. Oh, wow, we had so much fucking fun. Because, see, back in the day, everything was lax. It was just normal. They had no expectations of people actually showing up and doing the shit that we did when we did it. And I think we kind of set a precedence for them to change up some of their things, like their securities and the way that they do things. And yeah, you can read about it in the book. And there's paperwork to back it up, because trust and believe me, at some point in time, yeah, it did come to a head, and we got busted. And that was when the setup came and said, "Hey, if you're gonna be on these streets, yeah, we need to put you with somebody," and that's where Spank came into play.
Sounds like you guys were joyriding a little bit.
No, we were,
time.
we were taken and deliver. Yeah. We at that point in time, motherfuckers wanted Cadillacs. They wanted all kinds of shit, and we were going to get it. And we were getting it by bulk. I remember one night we took a fucking ambulance and riding around in that motherfucker.
Ambulance. Who are you selling that to?
Shit. We weren't selling it. It was just some shit. We just, hey, let's get it. Let's go. Yeah, we were kids.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Put on the shirt, like we really worked in the motherfucker. Woo, woo. Pull up to the party. Yeah. Shit. Did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That sounds like, actually would sound fun as a kid. If I would admit that.
Yeah.
But I bet you have stories on stories of just all the different things that you've experienced. People who have come and gone in your life, the things that you've seen. So now it brings you to now, the man you are today. Where do you see yourself going? You have this book, that you're producing. Are there more books coming out about your life and
Oh, yeah.
things that you've experienced, or
there's more things,
different things that you're working on?
Yep, there are.
Any that you can share with us?
Well, I have another project that I'm working on right now, and it's a script, and it's called "The Confessions of a Side Dude." Freaky tales. It's not what you're thinking, but all of the aspects of things that happen with dudes who actually have played the side guy. Things that they've seen, heard, and been privy to, and can attest to, and basically dealing with things like running for your life. Yeah, all of that.
Running for your life. Well, that's something for everyone to definitely look forward to. Sounds very interesting, because when you did say that title, my mind went one way. So to see a different perspective of it will definitely be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you're working on that you can give us the inside scoop in?
No, well, the podcast. I'm still pushing it and building it, and if you like it, you like to, subscribe, follow, hit the bell, come on through.
And that's what we're on right now, the Romello Marcellous show.
That's
and we
right.
Thank you so much for having us, on your podcast. So we do hope that your follower count goes up, and, this interview reaches someone and they get to know you a little bit better. I have learned much about you today, just from you sharing a little bit more about the things that I've read. Everyone needs to definitely go pick up a copy of the Finihless Finishline, and I love that title. And just read it. Read it, learn about someone new, a different experience that people have had in life. You never know. Might have an experience that you have had. This world is so small, but it's big at the same time. And just want to thank you for sharing the experiences that you've had in life with us.
No, thank you. I appreciate you taking the interest and taking your time to inquire about the book, even reading it and having your opinions and thoughts about it.
Well, thank you so much. And I definitely look forward to that script coming out. So hopefully we'll be able to do another interview at that time when that is actually produced.
Thank you. Yep.
All right. Till next time.
You take care.
You too.